If death exists, then somewhere, another meeting must exist too. The tower was burning. Church bells echoed through the smoke as Elena ran across the collapsing floor, her heartbeat drowning beneath the roar of the fire. And through the flames, a man reached for her hand und commented, the same man she would meet again. 400 years later on Charles Bridge, the city of Prague smelled of rain, ancient stone, and something almost forgotten that evening. Like the pages of a centuries-old book, hidden too long beneath a monastery floor. Above the city, the sunset burned crimson and violet. Gas lamps flickered alive one by one, their reflections stretching across the wet cobblestones like rivers of gold. The Vltava moved slowly beneath the bridge, dark and silent, as though it carried secrets older than the city itself. Charles Bridge was unusually quiet. Only a handful of people hurried through the rain, wrapped in coats and scarves. Among them walked two figures slowly through the mist. A woman in a dark wool coat and a man carrying an umbrella he had completely forgotten to open. Her name was Elena. His name was Matěj. They had known each other for only 3 weeks. Yet both of them carried the unsettling feeling that they had met long before this autumn in Prague, long before this lifetime. Matěj was a historian specializing in medieval Prague and the hidden legends buried beneath official history. Elena had come from Lviv to restore fading frescoes inside St. George's Basilica near Prague Castle. Their first meeting had seemed accidental. Later, neither of them would believe in accidents anymore. It happened inside the old library of the Clementinum. Elena dropped a weathered Latin manuscript while reaching for another book from the top shelf. Before it could hit the floor, Matěj caught it. The moment he saw the cover, the color drained from his face. Burned into the leather was a strange symbol, a black circle. Inside it stood a tower and 2 human figures. Matěj had seen that exact mark before. Years earlier, deep in forgotten archives beneath Prague Castle, he had discovered the journal of a 17th century alchemist. The same symbol appeared on nearly every page. At the time, he dismissed it as coincidence. Now, staring at Elena, he no longer believed that. "Are you okay?" she asked. Matěj kept staring at her, not rudely, not romantically, more like a man trying desperately to remember something he had lost long ago. Finally, he spoke. "We've met before." Elena laughed softly. "Yes, about 30 seconds ago." But he slowly shook his head. "No, much earlier than that." She assumed he was eccentric. Still, for reasons she couldn't explain, she stayed. And from that moment on, their lives began to intertwine with frightening speed. 3 weeks later, they stood together on Charles Bridge beneath a storm-dark sky. Rain shimmered across the ancient stones. The lanterns glowed gold against the deep blue evening. Elena stopped near the statue of St. John of Nepomuk and looked toward the black river below. "I had the dream again," she whispered. Matěj immediately tensed. "The same one." She nodded. "The tower, the fire, church bells." She hesitated. "And you?" Inside his coat pocket, Matěj tightened his hand around a cold silver key. Heavy, ancient, blackened with age. A week earlier, he had discovered it hidden inside a sealed chamber beneath an abandoned monastery wall. A key that should not have existed. "What was I doing in the dream?" he asked quietly. Elena looked at the river. "You were trying to save me." The wind swept across Charles Bridge as Prague's bells echoed through the fog. Matěj knew he could no longer hide the truth. "The symbol on the manuscript belongs to an old secret society," he said. "The Brotherhood of Dusk." Elena raised an eyebrow. That sounds like a Gothic novel. I wish it was. According to legend, the Brotherhood believed that love could survive death and even transcend time. Their most famous story told of Katerina and a royal astronomer named David, who fell deeply in love during the winter of 1619. Then tragedy struck. A fire trapped Katerina inside a tower overlooking the river. She died before dawn. Devastated by grief, David turned to the Brotherhood. They promised he would find her again. But there was a price. What kind of price? Elena asked. Maciej hesitated. They would keep finding each other in every lifetime until one of them remembered everything. A chill ran through her. Without another word, Maciej handed her an old photograph. Taken on Charles Bridge in 1910, the woman in the picture looked exactly like Elena. Not similar, exactly. The same face, the same eyes. I found others, he said quietly. 1712, 1799, 1847. Elena stared at the photographs, unable to explain what she was seeing, because somewhere deep inside, she already knew. That night, she barely slept. Near 3 a.m, she heard footsteps outside her hotel room. When she opened the door, no one was there. Only an envelope. Inside was a single sentence: "Do not open the tower before midnight." The ink was still fresh. She called Maciej immediately. He arrived minutes later, soaked by rain. "They know," he said. "Who?" "The Brotherhood." Someone had broken into his apartment and destroyed years of research. For the first time, Elena saw genuine fear in his eyes. The next day, they climbed to an abandoned tower hidden near Prague Castle. According to legend, it had once belonged to David. Inside, dust covered everything. Ancient star charts lined the walls. At the center of the room rested a journal. Most of it was written in Latin, but one sentence stood out: "If we meet again, I will know her by her eyes." The moment Elena read the words, memories crashed into her mind. Firelight, snow, church bells, smoke, a man calling her name. She gripped the table. "David," she whispered. The name came from somewhere she couldn't explain. Then she remembered. Winter, 1619. The tower was burning. Katarzyna stood trapped inside while flames climbed the walls. David desperately tried to break the windows. Smoke filled the room. He took her face in his hands and said, "If death exists, then somewhere another meeting must exist too." The vision vanished. Elena collapsed. Maciej knelt beside her. "So it was real," she whispered. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I think I've been searching for you my whole life." Before she could answer, heavy footsteps echoed through the tower. A tall, grey-haired man appeared in the doorway. His eyes were cold and unreadable. "The tower should remain closed," he said. "Who are you?" "The one trying to prevent another tragedy." Maciej stepped forward. "The Brotherhood." The old man nodded. "You were never meant to remember each other." "Why?" His expression darkened. "Because every reunion ends in death." After that day, everything changed. They were watched everywhere they went. Documents vanished. Strangers followed them through Prague streets. And every night they shared the same dream: blood on the stones of Charles Bridge. Maciej eventually realized something terrifying. The Brotherhood wasn't protecting history. They were hiding it. 3 nights later, they returned to the tower. At midnight, the journal suddenly opened by itself. Hidden inside was an ancient map leading beneath Prague Castle. At the bottom were 2 words: "The final door." Following the map, they descended into forgotten catacombs beneath the city. Ancient symbols covered the walls. At the end of the tunnels stood a massive iron door. Maciej unlocked it with a silver key. Inside waited a small stone chamber. At its center stood a black-silver hourglass. The sand inside flowed upward. Beneath it were engraved words. As long as love remembers, time holds no power. Suddenly footsteps echoed behind them. Members of the Brotherhood filled the tunnel. The old man stepped forward. "You must leave each other now." "What are you talking about?" He looked at them with pity. "Every time your memories return, one of you dies before sunrise." Silence filled the chamber. Then Maciej understood. In every photograph, Elena remained the same. But the man beside her was always different. Every lifetime ended the same way. He died. "Forget each other," the old man said, "and you will live." Elena felt her heart break. After centuries of searching, how could they walk away? Maciej looked at the hourglass. The sand continued flowing against time itself. Then he understood. Maybe the cycle could be broken. He stepped toward it. "What are you doing?" Elena whispered. He smiled sadly. "For the first time, changing the ending." And he turned the hourglass over. The chamber exploded with light. The catacombs shook. Stone cracked. The Brotherhood cried out in panic. Then everything disappeared. When Elena opened her eyes, she was standing on Charles Bridge. Morning sunlight reflected on the snow-covered stones. Tourists wandered through the cold air. Confused, she looked around. Then she saw him, a man standing near the statue of St. John of Nepomuk. Dark coat, thoughtful eyes. A stranger. For a moment he stared at her. Then he smiled. "Excuse me," he said. "Have we met before?" Elena's heart skipped a beat. The wind swept across the bridge, and somewhere beyond the city, Prague's bells began to ring once more, as if the city itself still remembered their secret.
Thank you for listening to my story to the end. I hope you enjoyed it.